And here is the first thing I want to kick off my series of the toy trains of Disney that I have. It's actually going to be a combination of ones that I have plus some that were in my father's collection, because he had a few, or had a couple of Disney train sets in his collection. This one I purchased at Walt Disney World this year on, I believe it was August 1st. I had done the Magic Behind the Steam Trains tour, and then right after the tour had finished at Main Street Station, I went across Town Square to the Emporium and purchased this, and then I had it shipped home, and it arrived, I think, the Monday or Tuesday of the following week. So it was only a few days later, and it got here perfectly. It was shipped and wrapped beautifully. This one's been already reviewed pretty much by a few other folks on YouTube, so I won't spend a ton of time on it, but it's a really nice set, this version. You have the locomotive with the Mickey figure in the cab, the tender with Donald with the shovel as the fireman, Goofy as a conductor with the watch. One of the holiday/excursion type coaches, shortened up quite a bit with a minifigure, and right behind the drawing of Mickey you have another coach. The box for this version, because they've issued this for quite a while, the version for this, and I'll show you the back as well, is framed with blueprint style for the train, monorail, Cinderella Castle, things like that. So let's take a look at the other parts of the box. Along the top you have the Cinderella Castle blueprint, Spaceship Earth blueprint, with some descriptions on how certain things were conceived and built. The material Spaceship Earth was made from, things like that. It's really nice. Here's the back section of the box, and you can see more of the blueprint style. You have the along the top part of what's now Pixar Pier, at the lower right, Space Mountain. Along the bottom you have the looks like from the trucks on that tender, that's probably the Hong Kong Disneyland Railroad. And then you have photos of what's included in the set, and a really beautiful photo in the middle of Walt with his engine, and it looks like it's not finished yet. The cab lettering's not on it for Lily Bell, but that looks like his live steam Lily Bell locomotive with Mickey, Donald, Pluto, Stagecoach next to it. The bottom, it tells you what's included. Locomotive is working headlights, train sounds, forward, stop, and reverse. There's 18 feet of track, which is by way of 12 curved and 6 straight. Makes a 77-inch by 47.5-inch oval, or you can make a 47.5-inch circle. You need 6 C batteries, which are not included. Some assembly is required. Let's look at other parts of the box. Okay, and here's the train out on the track. And I'll show you a little trick I did for Mickey and Donald. Since the train, these kind of shake around a bit, and the figures themselves would kind of rattle around and fall. To keep them standing, I left them in the little plastic molds that they're in when they come in the box. So I just took the one backing piece off, but then I left where their feet are, I left those pieces and then just set them in there. So that way they stay in position. And I'll show you Goofy in a second how I have him. So I did the same for Minnie. I just left the plastic mold on Minnie, so that way she's staying in the passenger car. And then the last car, I took the Goofy figure and kind of had it so he's hanging off the back rail of the car. Now don't do this for real. But I did this because I thought the way his arm is and everything, it balanced perfectly so he wasn't rattling around everywhere. Okay, some data on the real Walter E. Disney that runs at Walt Disney World. It's Locomotive 1 for the Walt Disney World Railroad. She's currently out for refurbishment. I live about 45 minutes to an hour away from where she's being refurbished. And the real Walter E. Disney, now this engine has two, or one on each side, two wheels for the leading trucks, 6 driving wheels, 3 on each side, and no wheels under the firebox, which would be a trailing truck. The real Walter E. Disney has 4 wheels in the front, 2 on each side, and then the 6 driving wheels and nothing under the firebox. In fact, this locomotive, there are stories about the 5th engine that was bought for Walt Disney World and then was so badly, in such bad condition, it was sat outside a station on display when they found it, that they couldn't even rebuild it. It was too far gone. Actually, it's funny because this model looks like that engine. It actually has quite a resemblance. In fact, one of the books I'll reference at the end of the video, Yucatan Jewels, you will see a couple photos of that engine, and it looks very much like this. So, some data on these. The Walter E. Disney, and it has a twin locomotive, one serial number off, away from each other. The Roger E. Brogy locomotive, also in Walt Disney World. These were built in 1925 by the Baldwin Locomotive Works in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And in fact, where the original Baldwin Locomotive Works was, part of it, there's a park now in Philadelphia, just on the edge of Center City with a marker where the Locomotive Works was. These were built for the narrow gauge railroad in Yucatan, hauling sugar cane and some passengers. In 1969, with the recommendation of, I believe it was someone named Jerry Best, who wrote several books on narrow gauge railroading, had notified the Disney folks that, in fact, there were steam locomotives just being retired, on the edge of being retired, down in the Yucatan. They were 3-foot narrow gauge, and they could be bought cheaply and then brought to Disney World. So a team went down, negotiated the sale. They bought 4 locomotives, made the deal for the 5th, which I explained was too far gone when it arrived. And so in 1969, from what I've read, about April or May through June to July of 1969, these locomotives were brought up from Mexico to Florida and were rebuilt to the style you see. They were rebuilt at the Tampa shipyards. So we're going to give this one a bit of a run, and like I said, there are some videos out there that have this running, but we'll just do a quick running session so you can see it. And after this video, I'll I'll do a series of videos showing you different versions of this set that have been offered by Disney through their parks, mail order, things like that. And a variation of this one that looks exactly like this, but is done for Disneyland Railroad. So let's give it a bit of a run. The forward and reverse control is this dome here right in front of the cab. Sound effects are controlled by turning the bell. So let's give it a little bit of a run. First will be without sound. Stops it, and the sound still plays, and then you just turn the sound off that way. So either way, you know, you can run the train. It doesn't have to have the sound on, because some people complain about the sound. And as you can see, Mickey and Donald stayed standing. So did Minnie. Hello, how are you? Yep. And Goofy stayed on the end of the car as well. So that's a brief rundown of this set. And like I was saying, the reason why I picked this one is because I did the Magic of Steam Trains tour on Wednesday, August 1st, 2018. And once I was done the tour, I went in the Emporium and picked this up. And I know some people scoff it off as just a toy, but it's such a lot of fun to run. You could say I have it out in the living room robe. When the weather gets cooler, I'm going to pop it outside on the deck for a little, give it a run here and there during the day, bring the track in at night. And like I was saying, I will do more Disney videos. And what I'm going to do, since I've done this one first, I'm going to spotlight other variations Disney have offered using this basic set. And there's one that I also recently purchased after getting home from Walt Disney World that I absolutely love, and I'll share that with you as well. And before I go, here are the two books that I used as my main sources for this and the upcoming Toy Trains of Disney videos as far as information on the real trains. And the books are All Aboard, The Wonderful World of Disney Trains by Dana Amendola, and Walt Disney World Railroads Part 3, Yucatan Jewels, The Mexico Connection by David Lephart. Definitely seek these books out. They're fantastic fonts of information on not just trains, but also the background that they have with Disney, Walt Disney himself, as well as the parks. So definitely seek these books out. They're well worth every penny, and I really think you'll enjoy them. Thanks for watching. Give the video a like below, and make sure you comment if you wish. Really like to talk about Disney, trains, and a whole bunch about either. Thanks a lot.